Please join me in welcoming our guest speaker, Jennie Joseph.
Thank you very much. I'm really excited to be here, and I live in Orlando, Florida, so I was a little bit scared when Sheila said, "Can you come?" I was like, oh no, it's going to be cold. So yesterday was really, really great. I even went on the ferry, so this is really a lovely surprise. I want to thank Open Arms for the opportunity to be here. It's an honor, and I really, really love this organization. My presentation is called Where There's a Will, There's a Way, and I really, truly believe Open Arms has found a way. So I came to the United States in 1989, and really this is true, I'm not making it up. I came to Disney World. Yeah, and look what happened. So I'm still here. I did figure out that America's not like Disney, though. I worked that out. So, but one of the things that was really hard for me when I arrived was I was already a midwife when I got here. So I just got off a plane and figured I'd deliver some babies because I knew Americans had babies and everything, and I knew I'd get a job, and everybody looked at me sideways and like, what are you talking about, midwife, huh? That was Florida, remember? So I have really had to struggle with what I did discover about living and working in the United States as a midwife. And that was that I was not seeing many women of color, many low-income women coming into my practice. I had a very thriving home birth practice. It was going great, and I was doing well. But I just couldn't figure out why there was no diversity in my practice. And I began to learn about the reason behind that. And I realized there was a very serious problem here. And I don't think many people really do understand how bad it is. But this is the truth. This is what's so. Twice as many African-American babies are being born too soon, being born too small, or too sick to survive their first birthday. Twice as many. And that's across the board. That's not something that's just in one area or a really disenfranchised area. That's everywhere across America. That's the difference between this hat and this hat for your newborn. That's what I'm talking about. And if you see this graph, it's not very clear, and that's actually on purpose that you can't really read the legend very clearly. It doesn't really matter what the legend is. It doesn't matter what it's representing, which disparity is it talking about. You know already that the line at the top, that purple line, represents the African-American race. You know that, don't you? Because the other lines will be pretty well close together. So we could be talking about diabetes, heart disease, it doesn't really matter. The problem is, in this case, though, we're talking about dead babies. And so I developed a program, and I wasn't very creative. I couldn't think of any fancy names, so I just called it the JJ Way, because I'm Jennie Joseph, and that was the best I could do. And so the JJ Way is a maternal child health system which is addressing that very problem. And I had to stop and ask myself this question. Could it be possible, then, that we could just create a culture and an environment that supports all pregnant women in America? Is that possible? And would that difference be that there would be better health, that babies might go all the way to full term instead of being preterm, that the babies might be fatter? Could that be possible? Could those babies be breastfed? These women who are in these risk categories, what is going to make the difference for these women? And so the fundamental underlying premise was simply this: every woman wants a healthy baby. Any one of you that has a child knows what I'm talking about. Every woman wants a healthy baby. Whether she's running the streets, acting the fool, carrying on, it doesn't matter what she's doing. Deep down, when she's pregnant, she wants a healthy baby. And so I asked myself, well, what would it look like then if every woman had the confidence and the support, had the access to that kind of care that would bring her to the end of her pregnancy with that safe and healthy baby? What would it look like if every dad had that same support, was recognized? How would that mom feel that was fathering the child, who was partnering with that dad? How would that baby feel? How did you feel when it was you? So the vision of the JJ Way is simply this: that all women have access, they have connections, they have the knowledge, and they have the empowerment to get their healthiest pregnancy and birth. Theirs, not ours, not what we think is right for them, but what they want for themselves. And so I created this atmosphere at my center. I was already providing prenatal care, and I wanted to bring these women on board. And I said, I'm going to have to do this myself. And so we started taking photos of the women, to represent them. And you know what? We could not find those photos anywhere. You can't go to Barnes & Noble and buy a book that connotes these beautiful pregnant bellies. But the full-term baby is what we're about. So it became about the big belly. So these pictures are pictures of women from my practice, everyday women. And we took them in the back room, in the birth room. We just put some black fabric on the wall. And we draped and we wrapped and we took pictures with a digital camera and we goofed off and we got this. We were shocked. We were really surprised. It didn't matter whether they had stretch marks. It didn't matter whether they were overweight. They felt good. They enjoyed the session. We did this one time, but this is what we got. So we created the culture. We tried to support the women in a way that was meaningful for them. It wasn't just providing them medical care. We wanted to make sure that these women knew they were supported, that they had the resources, and that they could have their baby anywhere they chose. And many of them, most of them, choose hospital. So it's a midwifery model, but it's not about just being the midwife. It's about women having options. So we accepted that the women would choose. This woman was trying for a VBAC. You see the confidence in her. She felt ready. This one was first time scared out of her wits, drove us crazy. She would never stop. But look at how she blossomed and grew into that pregnancy. This was a first-time mom. She had a lot of preterm labor going on, but she went to term. This one had had a preterm baby. Her previous baby was born at 28 weeks. She was told all her babies would have to be born early by cesarean. She went to term. The skinny one, you know, skinny girls aren't supposed to be able to carry babies to term. This one was barely 100 pounds. She went to term 3 times. She breastfed her babies. These images were important for the women to see themselves, to understand what was possible. I tell this story because this woman, Kanita, was using drugs when she first came to my practice. She was crack addicted. This woman went to a high-risk clinic. We did collaborative care. She got her baby to term. She had a residential program. She was clean throughout the rest of her pregnancy. She delivered her baby. This woman, too. Can you beat it? I mean, I'm talking about what if every baby was our baby? Every baby was breastfed. What if every mother... I'm having some trouble with my slides. They're going faster than me, but I'm not pressing the button. I'm just... What if every baby was bonded? What if every family was able to welcome their child? So I want to share a little bit about my work. We did a clinical study in 2007 because one thing I learned about being in America is that you've got to have some data. You know, like the pictures aren't enough. So we went with the study. We enrolled 100 women, and these were prospectively enrolled. They were not picked and chosen. They were just who came on board at this time and said yes. And we wanted to see what the outcomes would be, and this is what we got. Now keep in mind, I don't have any real fancy stuff going on. I'm just a midwife. We have a few medical assistants. But we got 95% of the babies from these at-risk women to term. 95% of these babies weighed 7.5 pounds. But there were no low birth weight babies, no premature babies, no babies that were sick or in jeopardy born to African American or Hispanic women out of those 100. Not one. Thank you. So you see this graph that I pointed out earlier. If we had been able to plot on this graph, our little blue smiley face represented that 4%, 4.7% of those women that had low birth weight babies in our study. But the heart, the purple heart, represents that line of 0 where there were no African American or Hispanic babies. I want to close with this little excerpt. You may have heard this before. It's an excerpt from Life Song, which was by a book by Jack Cornfield called A Path with Heart. So if you'll indulge me. There's a tribe in East Africa in which the art of true intimacy is fostered even before birth. In this tribe, the birth date of a child is not counted from the day of its physical birth, nor even the day of conception, as in other villages. In this tribe, the birth date comes the first time the child is a thought in its mother's mind. When a woman is interested in having a child, she first goes to sit alone under a tree, and in that place of solitude, she listens. She stays in that quiet place until she hears a song. She knows that it is the song of the child who wants to come. When she hears the song, she returns to the man who will be the child's father and teaches the song to him. And when they make love to conceive the child, they sing the song to call the child to them. When the woman is pregnant, she teaches the child's song to the midwives and the old women of the village, so that when the birth time arrives, the people surrounding the mother sing the song to welcome the child among them. Then, as the child grows up, the other villagers learn the song, and if the child falls or hurts his knee, someone picks him up and sings the song. When the child does something wonderful, the people of the village sing this song. And when the child goes through the rites of puberty and becomes an adult, the villagers sing the song. It goes this way through life. At a wedding, the songs of a husband and wife are sung together. Finally, when this child grows old and lies in bed, ready to die, all the villagers know the song, and they sing it for the last time. If every baby was our baby, I'm having trouble with my thing. If every baby was our baby, what would we truly want for our baby? What would that look like? What would we do differently? What wouldn't we stand for? How would we strive harder? What would move us to action? Please support Open Arms Perinatal Services. Thank you for being here, showing your support already, but know that this program makes a difference. And let us sing every child's life song as if it were our own. Thank you very much.